Today our topic is the biggest philosophical questions we may never answer. Life is full of mysteries, and no matter how much we learn, some questions seem to remain just out of reach. These questions are not about science or math, where we can find clear answers. They are about the nature of existence, the meaning of life, and the mysteries of the universe. These are the questions that philosophers have been asking for thousands of years, and yet we still do not have definite answers. But maybe the beauty of these questions is not in finding the answers, but in the journey of thinking about them. Let's explore some of these big questions and see how they can inspire us to live better, even if we never fully understand them. One of the biggest questions is, why are we here? What is the purpose of life? This question has troubled humans for centuries. Some people believe life has a purpose given by a higher power, like God or the universe. Others think life has no inherent purpose, and it is up to us to create our own meaning. The Stoic philosophers, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, taught that the purpose of life is not to seek pleasure or avoid pain, but to live with virtue and wisdom. They believe that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. This idea can be very motivating because it reminds us that we have the power to choose our attitude and actions, no matter what challenges we face. So, even if we never know the ultimate purpose of life, we can still live with purpose by being kind, courageous, and true to ourselves. Another big question is, what happens after we die? This is a question that has fascinated and frightened people for as long as humans have existed. Some believe in an afterlife, where the soul continues to exist in another form. Others think that death is the end, and there is nothing beyond it. The uncertainty of what happens after death can be scary, but it can also inspire us to make the most of the time we have. The Stoics believe that thinking about death can help us appreciate life more. They call this practice memento mori, which means remember you must die. This might sound gloomy, but it is actually a reminder to live fully and not waste time on things that do not matter. By accepting that life is short and unpredictable, we can focus on what is truly important and live with more gratitude and intention. A third big question is, do we have free will, or is everything predetermined? This question is about whether we are truly in control of our choices, or if everything we do is already decided by fate or the laws of nature. Some philosophers argue that free will is an illusion, and that our choices are influenced by factors beyond our control, like our genes, upbringing, and environment. Others believe that we have the ability to make free choices and shape our own destiny. This question is important because it affects how we see ourselves and our responsibility for our actions. If we believe in free will, we might feel more motivated to take control of our lives and make positive changes. If we think everything is predetermined, we might feel less responsible but also less hopeful about changing our circumstances. The truth is probably somewhere in between. We may not have complete control over everything, but we do have the power to make choices and influence our lives in meaningful ways. Another big question is, what is the nature of reality? Is the world as we see it real, or is it some kind of illusion? This question goes back to the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, who suggested that the world we experience is like shadows on a cave wall, not the true reality. Modern science has also shown that reality is much stranger than it seems. For example, quantum physics tells us that particles can exist in multiple states at once, and that the act of observing them can change their behavior. This makes us wonder if reality is something we create through our perception and consciousness. While this question might seem abstract, it can inspire us to question our assumptions and be more open-minded. It reminds us that there is always more to learn, and that the world is full of wonders we do not yet understand. A fifth big question is, why is there something instead of nothing? This is a question about the origin of existence. Why does the universe exist at all? Some people believe it was created by a divine being, while others think it came into existence through natural processes, like the Big Bang. But even if we accept the Big Bang as the beginning of the universe, we still have to ask, what caused the Big Bang, and what existed before it? These questions take us to the limits of human understanding. They remind us of how small we are in the grand scheme of things, but also how amazing it is that we exist at all. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by these questions, we can use them as a source of inspiration. The fact that we are here, asking these questions, is a miracle in itself. It can motivate us to appreciate the mystery of existence and live with a sense of wonder. A sixth big question is, what is the meaning of suffering? Why do bad things happen to good people? This question is especially troubling because suffering is a universal experience. No one can avoid pain, loss, or hardship. Some people believe suffering has a purpose, like teaching us important lessons or making us stronger. Others see suffering as random and meaningless. The Stoics had a unique perspective on suffering. They believed that suffering is not caused by external events, but by our judgments and attitudes toward those events. For example, losing a job might seem like a disaster, but it could also be an opportunity to find a better path. The Stoics taught that we can reduce our suffering by changing how we think about it. Instead of asking why me, we can ask what can I learn from this. This shift in perspective can help us find meaning in our struggles and grow from them. A seventh big question is, what is the nature of good and evil? Are these concepts real, or are they just human inventions? This question is important because it affects how we make moral decisions. If good and evil are real, then there are universal principles we should follow. If they are just ideas created by society, then morality might be more flexible. Some philosophers like Immanuel Kant believed in universal moral laws, such as treating others with respect and dignity. Others, like Friedrich Nietzsche, argued that morality is a human construct that can change over time. This question can inspire us to think deeply about our values and how we treat others. It reminds us that our actions have consequences and that we should strive to be ethical, even if the nature of good and evil is unclear. An eighth big question is, what is the self? Are we just our bodies and brains, or is there something more to us, like a soul or consciousness? This question is about identity and what makes us who we are. Some people believe that the self is an illusion created by the brain, while others think there is a deeper essence that cannot be explained by science. This question can inspire us to reflect on our own identity and what truly matters to us. It reminds us that we are more than just our thoughts and feelings. We are complex beings with the capacity for love, creativity, and growth. By exploring the nature of the self, we can better understand ourselves and our place in the world. A ninth big question is, what is the nature of time? Is time real, or is it just a human invention? This question is fascinating because time is something we all experience, but it is hard to define. Some scientists think time is an illusion created by our brains to make sense of change. Others believe time is a fundamental part of the universe. This question can inspire us to think about how we use our time. If time is limited and precious, then we should make the most of every moment. It reminds us to focus on what truly matters and not waste time on things that do not bring us joy or fulfillment. A 10th big question is, what is the ultimate nature of the universe? Is it a cold, indifferent place, or is there some kind of order or intelligence behind it? This question is about the big picture and our place in it. Some people believe the universe is random and meaningless, while others see it as a harmonious system, guided by natural laws or a higher power. This question can inspire us to think about our connection to the universe and the role we play in it. It reminds us that we are part of something much larger than ourselves, and that our actions can have a ripple effect on the world around us. In the end, these big questions may never be fully answered, but that does not mean they are not worth thinking about. They can inspire us to live with curiosity, courage, and compassion. They remind us that life is a mystery to be explored, not a problem to be solved. So instead of worrying about finding all the answers, let's focus on asking the right questions and living in a way that honors the beauty and complexity of existence. Let's be motivated by the unknown, not intimidated by it. And let's remember that, even though we may never have all the answers, the journey of asking these questions is what makes life meaningful.